Hi everyone, it's Robert Dick. I'm back, and this is the next installment in my instructional video series, and today's subject is your first multiphonic. I'm making these videos in conjunction with the Eastman Musical Instrument Company. They make Haynes, Amadeus, and Eastman flutes, and this is my Amadeus 600. Now, some of you perhaps have not actually heard multiphonics before, so let me just play a few to set the stage. If you listen carefully, the first ones I played had two notes, and the last ones had three. Anyway, there are thousands of multiple note combinations that the flute can make, and we really don't have to think of the flute as only a single note instrument anymore. We've still got all the beauties of our tradition and lots more. So how do you actually go about playing multiphonics? Let me start by saying that the biggest mistake people make is to think that one blows softer for the low note, harder for the high note, and somehow catches it in the middle. And that just isn't going to work. You'll find yourself, well, here's the low note, better send up some air. Well, where'd the low note go? And it can go back and forth forever. So what do you do? There's a little procedure to learn a multiphonic, and we're going to start on one of the very easiest ones, the first ones, in fact, that most people learn. We're going to begin with a ninth, C natural and D natural, and together they sound like this. The fingering is the regular third octave D natural fingering. And under that D is a C natural, not used in classical flute playing. It really doesn't kind of match the other notes in the classical sound, although when we get to how to make the flute sound like other kinds of flutes, how to find the bamboo flute inside your metal flute, then that C natural will be a much better choice than the regular C. But anyway, back to our multiphonic. Okay, the first thing to do is, using the fingering of the multiphonic, play each note by itself as softly as you can and crescendo to see how far it will go. That's it for the C. It won't play very loud. And the D, as a regular note, as we know, has got a nice big dynamic range. So we now know some really important things. We know which note is stronger, that's the D, and which note is weaker, that's the C. This is very typical in multiphonics. We'll have a stronger note and a weaker note. And the weaker note is almost always the lower note. And we know the dynamic ranges. Now, so if this is silence, and over there is, infinite volume, Led Zeppelin and Metallica, the C goes from silence to mezzo piano, and the D goes from silence to maybe triple forte. The multiphonic can only exist in this zone where both notes can be. And so that tells us our first decision, which is breath. how hard are we going to blow? So we're going to blow at mezzo piano. Now, the biggest difference between what most people think you do to play multiphonic and what you actually should do is the breath. The breath is the part that does not change. It's the part you rely on as you change everything else. So you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to blow at mezzo piano and keep it there no matter what. Okay, and we are now on the highway to success. Next, after your breath leaves your lungs, it gets to your throat, and we need to throat tune. Now, since we can't throat tune to both the C and the D, we need to choose, and we're going to throat tune to the C, the weaker note. It needs more help. So we're going to tune on the C. So here's that's the feeling in the throat. And we'll need to keep that feeling. Then the air gets to the mouth, and we need a syllable. And ooh will be a perfectly good one for this. Ooh, or ooh with a sort of umlaut on it. Ooh. And at last we get to the embouchure. See, the lips are not first, the lips are last. And someone's going to write a tune for the lips are last. So anyway, the jaw and lower lip are in charge of the bottom of the airstream. Your jaw position is the same as if you were going to play the C by itself. The upper lip is in charge of the top of the airstream, and its job is to get the air out there at a higher angle to play the D. It's going to kind of feel like two little fingers came in and went spoink. Okay, now the big secret there once again was that I made the lip motion without blowing harder. And as I play, if I start to sing, I'm coming in correctly on the C throat tuning note. So that's what we have time for today. So that's your first multiphonic, and have fun with it. And in our next session, we're going to move that multiphonic around and introduce several more. So come and visit me on my website, robertdick.net. If you'd like a lesson over Skype, send me an email. You can get my address from the website. And please pick up your copy of Tone Development Through Extended Techniques. Thanks a lot.